Hello, I'm Dazzling One, and this week I'm just going to be addressing some things that have been on my mind. So, just this past Sunday, it was July 12th, meaning it was the beginning of Jade Helm, and if you've been following this all over the internet, people have been speculating what this all means. There's been a lot of suspicious activity as far as military vehicles and things in residential areas, and many are speculating another false flag could be underway, like what happened with 9/11 or the Boston bombings when there was a simulation occurring at the same time as an event taking place. So also, there's a computer program by the name of Jade as well, Master the Human Domain. Some are saying it's because of computers, others are saying it could be a false alien invasion, but I wouldn't fret too much about it, but pray about it. I really am not worried. I'll just keep a close eye out for it, but there is a lot of eerie things to think about with this Jade Helm business. So just this past Saturday, it was 7-Eleven day, get a free Slurpee. That's always nice. It's my favorite drink, but it's also unhealthy. But it reminded me of a video I saw about a year ago that Black Child put together, very well done, and exposed Beyonce's 7-Eleven music video, and at first it looked like mindless pop culture nonsense, but of course you have to dig deeper, and it was being masqueraded as that, but in reality it was the Hindu goddess Kali's death dance that she does before she murders her victim. Very violent when you think about it. It's also to do with seasonal changes in paganism. But what really got me was it reminded me of some research I came across while researching for a book series I'm putting together, because if you didn't know this, which I've probably mentioned it like a million times, I love to write, and it's one of my hugest dreams to be a published author, best-selling author, I hope, and put my ideals out there. But anyways, my last essay I did for my final English class was on cults, and I failed to see the Thuggees. It's Thug with 2 E's on the end, and pretty much they were the deadliest cult in the world. They killed in the millions, and this group was located in India. They would kill people by strangling with a handkerchief on the side of the road, drain their blood, and loot them. And of course, this is also why they believe they were born from the blood of her sweat as well. So on the screen now, you'll see Indiana Jones' Temple of Doom, a scene from it, the 1984 film. It's a little more violent than what's described in history. It reminds me of a scene from Apocalypto, and if you don't like gruesome scenes, then by all means don't look at the screen or turn away from it. And I'm going to start putting more clips in my videos because I'm experimenting with video making, and I got a new mic, which is very exciting, and I'm happy to have it. And now's the time, now it's the summer. Hopefully my audio and videos improve, but also with the thug thing, getting back on track. So you saw with Baltimore and Ferguson, the rioting and the looting. You could argue it was a real event or false flag meant to create division. But either way, they called the group of people doing this thugs, and there's a certain archetype that they've perpetuated for the stereotype of what a thug is. But really, when you call someone a thug, you're not just calling them like a slang word. It's actually a child of Kali. You're wishing destruction. The media knows this. They know how to play on words. And what's sad about this is even in hip-hop and culture, people say thug life, and it's supposed to be some kind of trend, and it's been going on for a long, long time, but I didn't realize this is where thug comes from. It's this bloody history of murder, this group, and I wouldn't want to be associated with the children of Kali, but it's just pretty interesting. On another note, though, I saw Terminator Genesis this weekend, which just by the title and by looking at the poster, you can see it's chocked full of symbolism. You have Sarah Connor, Kyle Reese, which are John Connor's parents. And if you don't want me to spoil this for you, then skip ahead of this and the strain if you're going to watch these and you don't want me to run it for you. So spoiler alerts right there. You have Arnold Schwarzenegger returns in this Terminator film, and he is the protagonist. He basically raised Sarah Connor in this alternate timeline because time has been all switched up because people are traveling time, which goes into a lot of theories that I've discussed on this channel. The Flash does a lot of this, and really science is moving in the way of magic and science fiction. They like to say that the two are apart. You can't have the paranormal and science and all of this, but really it's part of the Hegelian dialect. The real scientists, the top ones of the world, are magicians, and quantum physics is trying to figure it all out. And so pretty much you have Adam and Eve with Sarah Connor and Kyle Reese, and their son, of course, transhumanism, but also Skynet, I believe, is deeper than just the antagonist of the film. It most likely represents God and the dome, and they break free from it. Now they have a free will, because they talked about how they didn't have free will because fate pretty much always forced them to make these choices, but now they can choose. And Luciferians believe Adam and Eve were trapped in the Garden of Eden as slaves, and they were freed from the serpent of knowledge. Of course, Pops, he raised Sarah Connor, which is kind of creepy because he's devoid of emotion, yet he has this tendency to care for her, and they like to repackage this. I think it's a misconception to believe that Eve was just so beguiled by him and unaware. I bet he purposely slithered around, made himself familiar to her, because she wasn't surprised he was talking to her, so maybe animals could talk as well back then, because clearly she wasn't like, oh my god, animals talking to me. So it's just pretty interesting to take note of. The Luciferian agenda is always repackaged again and again, telling the same story over and over again. But also, The Strain premiered season 2, and it was very violent and gruesome. On the screen right now, I have a picture of one of the ancient ones. That's what they call the vampires that are ancient. We don't know their origins yet, but we found out about one of the characters. And pretty much with this, what's interesting about it is it reminds me of a statue I saw, a Babylonian one of a god, and nothing new was really under the sun. Their hand gestures are a little different. It'll be on the screen later. It was a very violent season, very gruesome. Started off really bloody, and now on the screen I have a clip from the trailer. You can see him awakening, which right there I think they're telling us that those that are chained, the old ones, are awakening. And the children, they used blind children, pretty much mutated them into vampires because they were sacrificed, which is a very Nazi Germany thing. Stalin did it. Always sacrificed the handicapped or the disabled, the old. And, of course, right now you see the Babylonian statue of the false god. Once again, nothing new is under the sun. These fallen are making themselves known every day. There's also a human sacrifice. Poor naked guy chained up, and the ancient ones woke up, took turns drinking from his blood. Just not something you'd want to see, really. So, also, now on the screen I have a picture of the monument in Washington, D.C., just talking about reflecting pools because they're portals. This is why we see this symbolism all around the world. They're aware of this. But also, I was looking up portals, and I came across some interesting stuff about mirrors. So what I came across was some people believe mirrors led to Lilith's cave, and that Lilith came through mirrors. And what's interesting is I have a clip now on the screen from Return of Oz, the 1985 film, where the little girl is touching the mirror and she's pulling another girl through. And it's a belief around the world that mirrors cause demons and spirits that can travel in and out of the mirrors, and also some believe that mirrors were used to scare away evil spirits, so it can have the opposing effect. I remember Bloody Mary, Candyman, all those games when I was like in 2nd, 3rd grade. Kids wanted to play. My mom's like, you're not getting involved with that demonic nonsense, and I'm very thankful that she was strict about it, because had she not been, I could have invited some things into my life, and I didn't dabble in it. Also, another interesting myth, of course, if you break a mirror, 7 years of bad luck. I don't believe in that. Here's a clip from Mirrors 2008. It's a horror film. Like I said, if you don't like violent things, don't look at the screen. But many people had weird thoughts, like married couples seeing themselves in the mirror, man, happy marriage, girl eating an apple, brushing her hair, she would see an image of her future husband behind her. Also, clip from Nightmare on Elm Street, 2010 version on here now. A lot of people believe that that possess people, that when they look in the mirror, like celebrities, for instance, if you look at all their interviews, they're not able to look in the mirror. Probably because many of them are possessed and they see the demon inside them. And it's very interesting how mirrors can serve as a portal. See, reflection had a very divine purpose in the ancient world. They saw reflection as something divine. Some might say it's just because they were ignorant, but it's just very fascinating when you think about mirrors being portals. I definitely believe they can be, that things can travel in and out. And it's just, you see Hollywood constantly play this out for you. They're very aware of this fact. And like I said, they hide it in plain sight consistently. So it's just very interesting to look into. So another thing that I felt Yahweh laying on my heart was about just selling out and your strengths becoming your weaknesses, Satan using them. So just a cliche example is someone with a beautiful voice who sings for Yahweh, or maybe they don't, and then they sell out and they become famous. Now, I'm not against fame or any of that. It's just I feel that there's this industry that we have currently is filled with people who are sharks, who exploit people. They smell the blood, and people come out worse than they were before. I feel that when you go with Satan, basically, he uses you as a conduit. When you look at, for example, Exendrius, he put together a very brilliant series on demon magicians, I should say. And he exposed how magicians are actually using satanic, or I should say demonic power, which is no surprise, but at the same time, it's mind-blowing to think about. So many people in the occult, really, when you open yourself up to witchcraft, you're using yourself as a vehicle for the demons. And so what's interesting about this is he knows how to make you better for a short time. There's contracts, but then a person starts to decline, and then he replaces you with someone new. When he gets tired of you, he's done. He lets you die. He lets you hang out. He doesn't care about anyone but himself because he's full of pride. And that's the other thing. He lets pride creep in. I know so many people who are full of so much brilliant knowledge, and I've been guilty of feeling a certain way like this. Like, you get tired of trying to tell people about certain things, especially if you're like in the truth or you're learning about esoteric things. It just goes over their head and you get frustrated, and it can be easy to say, these people don't understand anything. I can't have an intelligent conversation with them. All they want to talk about is reality TV and the news and gossip and sports. And it's not good to be that way, because the heart you came in wanting to help them soon turns to stone. And remember, we once were similar in the sense that we were unaware of this stuff as well. Even people with formal educations can get pretty stuck up about how much they know, and it's sad. I never want to fall prey to that. I know everything I know. All I am is due to Yahweh, and that if I were to step away from him, I'm pretty sure I would actually start to decline. At first, it looked like I'd do better, and then suddenly it would be over and done with. But I remember even when I would study for tests, I would always be like, all things goes to him. It's like philosophy. I ask a bunch of questions, and I get a bunch back. The more I learn, the more I realize I don't know. It's just amazing how much you can learn, and I don't ever want to love knowledge more than I love Yahweh, or let what I know make me feel better than anyone else. Because knowing more than some people about certain subject matters does not make me better than them. It just means I'm a little more knowledgeable about it. But it doesn't make me this ultra super person. But sadly, I meet so many people with this mindset. And I believe it's something Satan uses to trap them. Also, imagination. So I have a very vivid imagination. Like I said, I like to write. I'm a storyteller. It's one of my talents. So for me, sometimes he tries to use it against me. He'll try to give me just graphic thoughts. I have to be careful with what I let in my, like I said, eye gates, and even with my ears, because when I listen to music, I instantly imagine a music video. I used to ask people, do you see a music video? And they'd look at me like I lost my mind. But really, I have to be very mindful about it and cognizant of what I'm doing. And also, he would try to distract me from sermons, from listening in class with my imagination. So like I said, he can use it as a pitfall as well. But just don't ever sell out for anything: knowledge, money, power, pride. Always remember where your gifts come from, and don't let it change you, or don't become self-absorbed. He will also try to hinder you from getting to that point as well. And also, he's killed creativity with this whole lack of creativity. See, demons and fallen angels can't create. But also, just really quick, in Mark 8:36, for what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? So when Yeshua talked about this, it's a powerful scripture, probably one of his most famous and well-known scriptures, but he was very right. Really, we don't gain anything to gain the world if we lose our soul in the process. And just going back to what I was saying a little earlier, fallen angels, some people call them archons. Let's call them what they are: fallen angels, demons. They might give people ideals and things, but in all honesty, they're just taking old ideals. There's nothing new under the sun. We as humans have this gift to create, and I believe it's because we're made in the image of God, and this is why they're constantly knocking at our image, saying that we need to evolve, when in reality, more people are devolving, and it's sad. But also, even when they taught things, they taught the secrets of heaven, so it wasn't anything they knew themselves. And so this is why they're killing art and creativity and trying to desensitize us as a whole with this lack of art. And this is why art is more satanic and perverse than anything else today. It's not real art. And then when something is even remotely decent, people are like, oh my God, this is brilliant, this is genius. And it's just like, this is normal. This isn't anything amazing. But as I said, this is pretty much everything that's been on my mind for like the past month or so. So I hope that you enjoyed my little rambling and that it was a blessing to you. And you have a wonderful week. Take care, and Yahweh bless you.